What is a Mason? I am. Thank you, brother, for that introduction. And don't forget, brethren, you too can submit a video. I won't go into the details here. Just look in the video description below. There's a link. It takes you to my website, and it will explain everything. My name is Jared, and I am a Master Mason in the state of Mississippi in the United States of America. And this is the tie of our Grand Master, Jason Jeffco, along with the lapel pin being used as a tie tack for What is a Mason, this YouTube channel, both of which were made by Edgar over at Masonic Revival. Want to know more about what Edgar makes? Look down in the video description below for a link. It'll take you over to everything that he's got. Blue Lodge, York Rite, Scottish Rite, various appendant bodies. He's got just about everything made high quality, so check it out. Today's viewer's question is, good afternoon, Jared. Can you touch on the subject of lapel pins? I am curious on the etiquette. Should you be presented with them, or should you just buy them? And possibly, what is the history of lapel pins in Masonry? Well, this is one of those topics that ought to be completely and utterly inconsequential and not matter to anybody, and yet for some reason seems to be up for debate. So, let me just start by ruining your day and telling you that I have no idea about the history of lapel pins in Freemasonry. I can tell you that today they are used either to show something of a distinction, maybe if you're an officer in some particular body, maybe if you're wanting to show that you are supporting a particular person or body. Sometimes it's because of a fundraiser. You just supported a fundraiser and received a lapel pin, and maybe that pin shows at what level you supported. Or maybe it shows how many years you have been a Mason. Point is, if you can think of a reason to possibly want to commemorate something with a pin, then it's probably being done. And I would suspect, not knowing the history, that really that's all it boils down to for all of Freemasonry. That there are going to be pins that are there for an official purpose. To say that I am the person that holds this particular office, and you wear a pin to denote it for any occasion that you might not be wearing your official regalia. And I think they probably, for a long time, have also been using them for fundraisers. Matter of fact, I was in the basement of our Grand Lodge just the other day and found a older, it's not really old in terms of history, but an older little placard that had been made up where they were looking for donations, and depending on what level you donated at, started off with a little sticker you could put on your dues card and ended up with a couple different pins that you could receive if you donated at the higher levels. So you got a bigger distinction for your higher donation by having a certain lapel pin for it. So I don't know the history, but I suspect that it's basically been the same reasons we use them today repeated throughout history. So what about the etiquette? I think in some cases it's appropriate to be presented one, but I also think that the vast majority of them are simply bought, where an individual brother says, well, for example, I want to support this YouTube channel thing. I like what Jared does, and surely all the electronics and whatever must cost him a little money, so what the heck, I'll send $10 to Jared, he's going to send me a lapel pin. I get to go around telling people about this lapel pin and what this YouTube channel is all about and why I like it. And I helped out Jared a little bit in the meantime to help support the channel. So I think you get a lot of stuff like that. But I also think that it's appropriate to be presented at times. So I know that there are some appendant bodies that when you join them, one of the ways that they will recognize you as a new member is they will present you with a lapel pin. Also, it's kind of a tradition in most of Mississippi, and I only say it that way because I don't know if all the lodges do this, but my home lodge definitely participates in the tradition of a new Master Mason getting a lapel pin of the current Grand Master. So every year the Grand Master sells lapel pins for the purpose of raising money for the Grand Lodge. And my lodge buys a couple extras, and if we have anybody that gets the master's degree that year, we would give them a Grand Master's lapel pin. So we make that as a presentation, but at the same time, thousands of Freemasons around the state are buying these as well. So you see it's kind of a mixed bag of different situations in which you might either buy or receive a lapel pin. But you bring up an interesting word here. You use specifically the word etiquette. And you used that word to suggest that it might be proper or improper to buy a lapel pin versus receive a lapel pin. But I think there's a touchier subject that you can certainly find across all of social media, that being of the number of lapel pins one wears. I have seen brothers who I have the utmost respect for as men and Masons wear enough lapel pins that you thought that they were trying to put body armor on. I have also seen plenty of Masons who I have deep respect for who don't ever wear any kind of a lapel pin. So it's personal taste, right? It's your own little flair, as some have said, that you're putting on because you want to show that you support something or that you are a part of something. So what's appropriate? Well, I would say first that I have drawers of lapel pins that have been gifted to me, that I have purchased, that I have received as a part of being brought into a particular pendant body, or whatever the case may be. For me personally, I pick and choose what lapel pins and how many based on what I'm going to be doing. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a fine line to draw with that. So, for example, if I go to a Scottish Rite meeting, I have several lapel pins that would be appropriate for me attending my Scottish Rite meeting. For one, I have a pin that says 32nd degree on there. So it denotes my degree in Scottish Rite. I've got a lapel pin from the SGIG of our state that he has to promote Scottish Rite Freemasonry in the state. I am the Venerable Master of my Knights of St. Andrew. So I've got a Knights of St. Andrew pin that I feel would be appropriate for me to wear. I am the Wise Master of the Chapter of Rose Croix. So I've got a Rosy Cross lapel pin that would be appropriate for me to wear. I've completed all of the Master Craftsman courses and have all the lapel pins that they provide you for each of those courses that would be appropriate to wear. And I haven't reached the end yet. So it's possible to still overdo it, even though every pin you're wearing is appropriate to the venue you're attending. So, my personal preference, I do try to whittle it down to one. If I can wear just one lapel pin, then great. I get away with easily doing two. Wear one as a tie tack and one as a lapel pin. But more often than not, you might see me with two or three actually on my lapel. Past three is too much for me, personally. If I see it on somebody else, if I see them wearing one or two pins, it's, oh, hey, brother, I don't know that one. What's that about? Hey, I don't know. What about that one also? And it's a conversation starter. If I see you with 5 lapel pins on, I'm just going to kind of smile to myself, shake your hand, and tell you to have a good day. So recognize that as well. If you're wearing too many that people aren't even going to take the time to look at what you've got, are you really even accomplishing the goal of wearing them? So I would take that into account as well. Wear an amount that's reasonable for an elevator discussion. Hey, what are those 2 pins on your lapel? Oh, well, I got this one here and I got this one there. Boom, elevator doors open. Hey, thanks for asking. Have a nice day, and you're done. If you had 6 lapel pins on there, you either be on a really long elevator ride or it's just not going to work. So maybe that's a little piece of advice for you on what to do. But in the end, your own personality is going to prevail no matter what I say. So take it with a grain of salt. Well, there you are, sir, brother. I hope that answers your question about lapel pins. Don't be afraid to go out and buy one. But if you do see people in your lodge or your other Masonic bodies that are wearing lapel pins, don't be afraid to ask, hey, that lapel pin you've got, is that something that you earn and they give you at some point, or does everybody just go out and buy their own? And the guy will tell you, oh, well, we just all go out and buy our own. Or, well, Bob bought a whole bag full of them a couple months ago and he's got them if you just want to buy one off of Bob. So lots of different things like that. So if you have any other questions, please head down in the comments below, leave me a question. I'm always taking questions from the comments and putting them over into a document, and then when I sit down to make videos, I pick a couple and make videos on them. So if you want your question to get answered, you've got to ask it. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch, and we'll see you next time. Bye.